Tawnie here with Tawnie Talks. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I hope you're doing amazing today. Let's go ahead and jump into our fishbowl of questions and see who we can help today. Dear Tawnie, I would like to be more assertive, but I don't want to come across as being too aggressive. How do I become more assertive but friendly? What a great question, and a question that I'm sure that a lot of us have asked ourselves at one point or another. Before we jump into today's video, please take a moment to click like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you might think would be helpful so that we can grow this channel together and help reach more people. Now, back to the video. How do we speak up for our wants and needs? How do we express what we're feeling without coming across like we're gonna bulldoze over someone? So today I've got some tips for you to be more assertive, express your want, need, and desire in a way that will be receptive towards the other person and feel really good doing it. So let's go ahead and get started. My first tip to express your want and needs and desires in an assertive way is to really come into the conversation with a good sense of confidence. You're going to want to go ahead and rehearse what it is that you want to say. You want to identify the point that you're trying to make and your reasoning for it, but really take some deep breaths, sit up straight, and say some positive affirmations to yourself. I've got this. I can express myself eloquently and clearly, and I feel really good and proud of myself that I'm able to stand up for my wants, needs, and desires in a polite but respectful manner. I totally have this conversation down. So you want to have a good sense of confidence going into conversations where you need to be more assertive, and you want to be able to identify exactly what you want to say. Number 2 on how to be more assertive without bulldozing someone is you're going to want to identify the person you're going to be speaking to. So, is this someone that can handle a straightforward, blatant, frank conversation? Or is it someone that you feel like you're going to need a little gentle nudging here and there? You're going to be a little bit more softer in your approach. And so you want to identify the type of person that's going to be receiving this information where you get to practice your assertive skills. Okay, so identify the type of person and then tailor your approach towards that person. Number 3 in being more assertive without bulldozing someone is after you've identified what you want to express and identified the type of person or persons you're going to be addressing, you're going to want to think about location. Where do you want to have this conversation? Is it a conversation that you can have over text messaging or a phone call, or is it truly going to need to be a sit-down, face-to-face conversation with this person or with a group of people if you're going to be communicating the same idea to more than one person? So identify the location that would best suit to have this conversation. Number 4 of how to be assertive without bulldozing over somebody is you're going to want to go into this conversation with an open mind. Don't expect the other person to be completely enamored with you, completely agreeing with you, bowed over because they're so amazed that you are so amazing with your assertiveness skills. Expect that the person might become defensive. Expect them to not want to hear what you have to say. Expect them to immediately want to argue with you. So if you go into these conversations with an open mind, not expecting that you're going to just agree right away and there's not going to be any hard challenges that will arise from the conversation, you'll be more prepared to know how to defend your talking points, how to actively listen to what they have to say, and then work towards a compromise or at the very least agree to disagree after you've had a chance to express your assertive skills. Because remember, just having hard conversations and being able to speak up for your wants, needs, and desires in an assertive, respectful, but polite manner is already a win. My next tip for how to be assertive without bulldozing over someone is really practice your reflective listening skills and use those I statements. So as you're having the conversation, you want to go ahead and lead in with I statements. I've been feeling this way. I've had this on my mind. I was thinking about this. This is how I would approach this conversation. So go ahead and use those I statements. You want to put the focus on you because you're bringing an issue up with someone, but you're also part of the we statements, as in we can go ahead and solve this together. We can find a solution to this problem. I can't wait to get to know you so we can work collaboratively together to mutually agree on something. So you want to lead in with I, but as you're talking, go ahead and use the we statements as well so that that other person feels that they're a part of the solution, listening to you, and they get a chance to offer you feedback as well. Another important note to add here is that as you're having this conversation and your goal is to have a collaborative approach here, you want to go ahead and make room for active listening skills, your own reflective listening skills. So as they're talking with you, if they're getting defensive, if they're getting argumentative, you want to go ahead and try to see what they're feeling underneath the words that they're saying. So are they getting argumentative because they're embarrassed, because they feel ashamed, because they feel angry, because they feel sad? So try to listen to the emotions behind their words. And I know that it's not that very easy for someone who's not trained to pick up on, but if you can practice trying to listen for the emotions behind the words and then address those emotions. And so that could sound like, okay, well, I understand what you're saying and I can see why that might feel embarrassing for you. So when you add in it might feel embarrassing for you, you're not saying that they're feeling embarrassed, for example, but you're offering them some leeway here. You're saying it might be embarrassing because it might not be embarrassing. They might be feeling angry, even though we know that anger is a secondary emotion, right? And so being able to be reflective in your listening and being able to try to pay attention to the emotions behind the words can also help you collaboratively with them solve the issue. My next tip on how to be assertive without bulldozing over someone is know when to end the conversation. Now, this is really important to pay attention to. Know when the conversation has gone completely sideways and that it's no longer productive, and know when you're speaking to a brick wall. And so when you're realizing that you're going around in circles, that no matter how kindly or gently you've tried to explain your point of view, it's not going anywhere, know when to end the conversation politely and maybe schedule it for another time, walk away from the conversation, end the conversation and say, you know what, maybe right now is not a good time to talk about this. Why don't we revisit this in a week or a day or two or in a month? Whatever the time frame is best for you, go ahead and offer that as a suggestion. So it doesn't seem like you're just cutting that person off, but it seems like you're trying to problem solve still, knowing that sometimes it takes time after a hard conversation to cool down and really have some clarity in thinking, and that you're leaving room to allow that to happen. So in summary, when you feel like you need to practice your assertive skills, I want you to have a sense of confidence. I want you to go ahead and identify what the expressing of want, need, and desire is going to do for you and what your need and desire and want actually is. Think about those critically. Then I want you to think about the person you're going to be addressing or the persons you're going to be addressing. Are these people you can have a very straightforward conversation with, or are these people you have to be a little bit more gentle with? Then I want you to consider the location you're going to have this conversation. Is this conversation okay over text messaging, phone call, or does it have to be face-to-face? Then I want you to be reflective in your listening skills and use those I statements as you're speaking up for your wants and needs. Never placing blame or judgment, but just saying straight from your heart how you feel, what you've been thinking about, and how you think it could be addressed, and collaboratively work together to address the issue at hand. And lastly, I want you to go into this conversation with a we can solve it team approach. You're expressing a need, desire, want to someone, and hopefully you're allowing them to express their needs, wants, and desires to you so that you can problem solve the issue at hand together, or at the very least, they have a better understanding of what you have to express, want, or need on your mind. And I also want you to remember that it's always okay to take some time apart after a hard conversation so that you get a chance to get some clarity, a little breathing room, and then you can always reconnect at a later time to have a more productive conversation. I also want you to know that no matter how it goes, I am so proud of you for being assertive, that you felt that your wants, needs, and desires were important enough for you to speak up about how you feel, and the courage to express how you feel to someone. That's already a big win, and I'm proud of you for that. So this concludes today's Tawnie Talks. Listen, I want you to know, if no one's told you yet today, how special, how wonderful, how unique you are. There's no one like you in the whole wide world. I want you to reflect on that today, and I'll see you in the next video.